All right, well, my name's Jesse Stewart. I'm here with Steve Nyman, and we met for the first time in Park City back in June at the Partners Summit, and I made a comment. I know you weren't in there, but your wife was, and she hammered me afterwards because I had said, I'm not often starstruck with just the guys that we had the opportunity to work with in the Ranger Regiment and having athletes come out and join us or, just work with us or whatever. But I'm not gonna lie, man, when we met at that dinner, you were probably the one guy that I would refuse to go up and ask for a picture or an autograph with, just out of pride, that I wouldn't bring myself. But it was awesome. You came up to me and introduced yourself. You're like, hey, you that guy that was working out with the downhill tech team. And it's been great to get to know you a little bit better because I followed your career up until the Olympics of what happened about a week prior. And so love to just ask you some questions about this resilient-based approach to life and get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, no problem.
So, but first of all, if you wouldn't mind just introducing who you are and generally what you do, so that way people within the community that watch this stuff can get a better idea.
I am Steven Nyman. I am an alpine ski racer. I made the U.S. ski team in slalom, which is the tight, quick turns, very technical. And then over time, I meandered toward downhill, and that's the fastest, gutsiest event in skiing. So I've won 3 World Cups. I've been on the podium 11 times, and I'm 36 years old, and I have no intention of stopping.
So, certified American badass. I love it. So, as we talked before, kind of my focus with the team up until recently has been working with the rookies and introducing this resilient-based mindset to them to not only achieve balance, but hopefully get an edge to just crush it on the course. And that consists of living life on the mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual planes of existence. And I know you are someone that really appreciates, this balance-based lifestyle between especially the physical and the mental. And I was wondering if you could share some thoughts on that.
Something that I've always thought about, not always thought, something that I was taught was you're only as strong as your weakest link. And when I hear those 4 planes, you have to look at each of those planes and break those down. And so in the physical side of things, you need to work really hard, but you also need to eat really hard. You need to rest really hard. You need to create a balance within each one of those planes as well. The spiritual side of things, it's something you can't jump all into. You have to have each one of those at a high level, and if one of those is down low, that's as high as you can get. Honestly, you can be up here physically, but if you're down here spiritually, you may hit some highs, but you're not going to be consistently up there. And I think once you push everything to that high level and do everything with that same amount of focus, each one of those 4 pillars, I think that's when you've found complete balance.
Yeah, and I was wondering, if you could talk when things get out of balance for you. I mean, you're obviously a very physically impressive individual, probably the fittest person that I've met at the Center of Excellence up until this point. When you have felt yourself out of balance, say maybe leading up to an injury, has that played a role in terms of maybe the injury itself or more importantly the recovery afterwards?
In my youth, if I look back, that's where some of the injuries came from. But our sport is so intensive, and when you crash going 80, 90 miles an hour, it's not stopping a lot of the injuries that occur.
I know, it makes a bad jump look a lot, more palatable.
But no, this is gonna get loud.
I thought we were in the remote mountains of Jackson Hill, Wyoming.
Diesel trucks.
Yeah, America, love it.
Where was I with?
So was there anything out of balance that you can see leading to an injury?
When I look back at my career, when I was young, there was a lot out of balance, and I was very physically weighted. Mm-hmm. As of late, it's been the thing that's really helped me has been setting goals and basically checking in with myself every single day. And I'm really good at it when I'm at camp and when I'm in intensive training blocks. But sometimes outside of that, I tend to just back off, and maybe that's part of the balance too. It's like I don't need to sit there and check into myself every single day. Am I doing this? Am I doing that? Am I blah, blah, blah. But when I'm working, it's like, okay, what am I getting done? What skills am I developing? am I recovering? Am I devoting time to my family? Am I having that balance within myself? And can I get to that level that I know is required to compete at the highest level? So I think the biggest thing is being honest with yourself, constantly checking in with yourself, and keeping things simple too. Every day, those goals or those intentions you set, keep it to 2 or 3 things and do those well. And say, okay, has this become a habit? Is this something that I need to continue focusing on until it becomes habitual? Or is it something that, okay, this is going to be just part of the daily routine. I don't need to focus on it anymore. Let's move to something else and heighten the level of that.
Yeah, I mean, I just right off the top of my head, there's some guys that'll make those yoga videos for, and in terms of intention, that's a great intention to look at setting. Like, my intention is just to focus on doing 2 or 3 things great or well, today. And I think once you're able to, take those smaller steps, all of a sudden habits become automatic. They build upon each other, and then you start striving towards excellence, right? Awesome. That from following your career, I was following you and Bodie at about the same time, just because I was very interested in the physical side. And Bodie's kind of been known as just one of those crazy physical guys that was able to ski pretty late, relatively in life. Hopefully, you're gonna crush beyond that. But you've been known as one of the more mentally tough, if not the most mentally tough, within the United States in the Olympic Committee. When I was at the USOC with Jason Woolley, I mean, they knew who you were in the sports science and sports psychology department there. So I was wondering if you could talk about, how pushing the mental has helped you on the physical side.
To me, mental is kind of what we touched on earlier. It's that ability to clarify what your intentions are, what are you trying to develop, where are you trying to go, and when you start taking action, you're doing it with intention, and you're creating those habits, you're creating a movement, or you're creating something, instead of just going through the steps of mediocrity thinking, okay, I'm doing this will make me better, this is what this guy says. It's like, why is he saying that? Getting an understanding of why you're doing this. I think the mental part, the biggest thing is the understanding. Got something in my eye here.
It's greatness, I think. Got some greatness in there after that workout.
Dude, you burned my lungs on that workout. So I'd say the mental part, to me, is it's having an understanding of what I'm doing. If I look at some of my heroes, I'd say Tom Brady. That guy understands what he's doing.
I think Tom Brady knows who you are by now. By the way,
No, he doesn't. He has no clue. And then
surprise, man.
And then Kelly Slater, just an unbelievable understanding of what he's doing, and he's incredible. He's surfing at a top level in his 40s. But when you gain that understanding of why you're doing this, what the path is, what's required, how does this affect your body, how does this affect your spirit, how does this affect the people around you, that's when you have true power, and that's when you can create change and effect on others too. So I think that's such a critical part of the balance of life. And when you can help affect others, and when they can become independent and can pass it on to other people, that's, I think, the most powerful thing that you can do. But that just requires that mental acuity, that focus, that intention every single day. And you can talk about intention, and people say this in yoga or whatever, but it's like, truly,
what are you doing?
What are you doing? Where are you going? And how are you going to do it? And what's pretty cool is this year, I think there's a shift that's occurred in our team, and our coach has sat us down and said, okay, like, what is our language? What does this mean? What does that mean? How do we approach this? How do we approach that? And we've come together as a team to create this verbiage so we're all on the same page, so we can get over the radio, we can talk, and we know exactly what that guy's talking about. So when we kick it out of start gate, we know what we're going to do, how we're going to approach that section, and just go at it with full force.
Yeah. So leading into that, how do you see I've done a lot of work with your rookies. Starting in 2015, that was the first opportunity I had was rookie camp, and then did it again this year. Obviously that's the future of the team, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to survive for another 20 years skiing. But what do you see
Never
your
know.
role? I like it. Throw it down the challenge, and I'll go and knock out the 55-year-old CrossFit competition, right? So how do you see your role with the rookies?
To me, when you're a rookie, when you're on the team, you're fired up, and everything's new, and you're excited. But our tour, it's the same basically every year. And there may be one or two stops that are a little different, so it's exciting. But other than that, it's pretty much the same. And when I got on the tour 4 or 5 years in, it gets a little mundane. And I had actually a little dark period during that time, but then it was the rookies that came in that inspired me, and that's what got me going was teaching them what I know, how to be the most efficient at these places, how to live in Europe and embrace the scene there, how to really take in what ski racing is. Ski racing is a European-based sport. These guys have such an advantage. They go home every couple days. Like, they see their families. We're sitting there living out of our suitcases all winter long. So I actually picked my family up. I live in Innsbruck. I'm in it. I'm embracing it, and I love it. But the young guys came in, and I saw their passion and their excitement for these new places, these courses that they saw me racing and all their other heroes, and they said, oh, I'm here, I'm in Kitzbühel, I'm in Wengen, I'm in Gardena, and that gets them fired up, which in turn fires me up, and then I feed off of that by trying to teach them what I know so they didn't make the stupid mistakes that I made. And hopefully they learn from that, and everybody will make mistakes, and that's what's going to make you stronger, but hopefully they can get to that higher level and create that consistency and become one of the best and reach their goals and focuses.
Awesome. Well, we've talked a lot about intention and mindset over the past 24 hours since we linked up. I made it clear to you, the mindfulness component has been the game changer for me over especially the last 12 months of, adding yoga, meditation. As simple as being mindful about what I'm eating. I talked to you about my morning routine and how important that first, protein shake that I make, that first glass of water that I make. Does that play a role for you in your period right now? Is that something that you're looking at enhancing? What are your thoughts on that?
If I look back at my career, some of my best years are when I have consistent yoga integrated into my program.
Okay.
I'm good at that sometimes. I'm good at, or not so good at it other times. But I try to check out in other ways. I try to have my own time, my own space. I like earthing. That's one thing that really connects me. In Europe in the middle of the winter, sometimes there's snow, sometimes there's not. And when I go out there and there's no snow, I go lay in these moss fields and pass out. Like I've woken up in this field with 6 deer standing around me, just like, what is this thing laying here in the field, But I woke up just re-energized and recharged to get going. But it's also a place where you can retreat to. It's quiet. You don't have all the distractions of the modern day world. You don't have the social media constantly shooting at you, or the TV, or just guys around you. It's just yourself, your own thoughts, and nature. So it allows you to just clarify what it is you want, what are you doing, and how can you get back to that place. But you have to go out there with that intention, knowing like, all right, this is my time to really clear my head and set a new direction,
Yeah, that's awesome. I wish I could go wake up with 6 deer with my bow hidden by my side. But so I talked to you a little bit about this, but we're starting a military advisory board with the U.S. Ski Team, and Luke B has honored me by allowing me to help lead that, and it's bringing in some pretty significant power hitters from senior military leaders such as Lieutenant General Cassim, which hopefully you'll be able to meet here in the future. And it sounds like your wife had a relationship with him in the past when she went to Wharton. General McChrystal potentially coming on, who is the godfather of special operations. all the way down to everyday operators, door kickers that are coming in to try and just bring our mindset type approach to you guys to help with winning. I was curious, what are your thoughts on that, the inclusion of the military mindset into U.S. ski team headquarters, the coaches, all the way down to the athletes?
My best trainer that I've ever had physically comes from a military background. He was Austrian Special Forces. He still works with the military there, and I still associate with him frequently. And he was the inspiration to me. And that's something that I feel like the ski team is currently missing. And I think it brings a level of intensity that tends to not be there. It requires a unique individual to bring it out of themselves personally. But if that's part of the culture, I think that will really heighten the level of everybody. I think there's just discipline, there's focus, and there's a system that really brings the best out in people. And I'm excited to help reintegrate that into the ski team.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, man, I got a lot of guys that are really excited about, you out from the military side of you being on board with that. I've told them, Steve's tracking on it, and he's excited to see where it goes. And obviously, we want to support athletes that we can relate to. And you're definitely the type of guy, with how you bounce back from injuries. I was wounded 4 times, 4 pretty serious surgeries. Unfortunately, wasn't able to come back after the last one, but it's led me to what I'm doing now, which I feel has been my calling. But you're going to fit in well with our community, and I know they're going to really want to draw from you and then find out what they can do for you. So as we kind of wind down here, I got basically 2 more questions, or one question and one thought is, we met in Park City. I kind of attempted to corner you in front of Chris about, 2022, and, because you're going to be 40, I think a week before the Olympics, right? You turn 40?
Usually at the games.
Yeah, at the games.
I've raced it downhill on my birthday. Maybe that'd be cool.
And exactly, and put a gold medal on it. And hopefully I'll be there at the base of the hill with Tom Brady and Giselle rooting you on after he's just won his 9th Super Bowl at like 47. But what do you see happening in the winter of 2022?
As long as I can keep my mental, physical, spiritual, and what's your 4th pillar? Sorry.
The mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual.
Emotional.
So mental, emotional.
Yeah.
So the emotional aspect.
As long as I can keep my mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual pillars at a high level, I feel like I can continue to compete. I know currently I can still beat the Young Bucks, so
Yeah.
I still want to see how long I can take that, and my wife fully supports it, and it's always been a dream of mine. Tommy Moe inspired me back in the 94 games, AJ Kitt 92 games. I didn't grow up with TV. I had a VHS tape of the 92 Olympics, and I watched that over and over and over, and it's constantly been a dream of mine. And to do that at 40 would just be mind-blowing. So that's definitely a focus of mine, and it's what should I say? It is something I think I could not contain. It is something I think I could obtain if I really just keep the pieces together.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, there's a lot of guys like me and in my similar boat that want to do what we can to help you support that. And not only you, but the entire men's speed team. We look at you guys essentially being the Rangers, SEALs, Force Recon of the U.S. ski team. And I'll get a lot of crap from that from all the other individual teams that I work with. But you guys definitely set the tone and set the standard. And I think if this mindset can permeate through your team, I think it can spread like wildfire down the road. And I wasn't joking. If there's one athlete I would love to see win, it would be you. You exhibit everything in terms of the values, the core principles, that we aspire to have, which is because we have to be the best. We go do the things that no one else will do, so Americans can, sleep tight at night. So you can go and kick ass on the world stage. But it was an absolute honor to have met you in Park City. It was one of my favorite pictures that we took, where you like literally crushed my chances at a blind date when they saw the picture of you and I, because they thought I was a midget standing next to you. But obviously, everything's meant for a reason. But I gave this to you, or showed this to you earlier, but we finished the workout. We just got done doing the 300. And so this is my commander's coin from Charlie Troop 573. So I want to officially give it to you and your family. And you can put that on there on your display case.
Thank you.
And like I said, man, I look forward to working with you in the future and doing what I can to help augment these things. So, all right, thanks, brother.
Thanks, Jesse.